Continuing to reflect on what happened at the Etihad yesterday. Manchester City, of course, 1-0 up. And then it all went very, very wrong once again for Pep Guardiola's side. They very much shot themselves in the foot twice. We saw Manchester United come from behind and get a 2-0 victory. Leaves City sitting fifth in the table. They're out of the title race. That isn't even a discussion at the moment. 9 points off Liverpool at the top of the table. For more on this, oh, it's so good. It's so good when Manchester City are horrible to have Nedum on. We'll hear from Nedum in a minute. But
how can we not go in there?
I want to start with Mario first, because we talked about this game a lot yesterday, Mario, but you can give us a slightly different insight because you were at the game. What can you tell us that you saw there that maybe we didn't pick up on the TV?
I think the biggest part was, of course, we saw the results, you understand, of the way the game went. But you could see the passion of both managers. You know, Almiron, for example, when the corner comes in, he has a separate guy that comes to the touchline and he goes to the bench, because in the area where they stand, you can only have one person. When it comes to Guardiola, you could see that just the movement and everything, how he lives that game is totally different. And one of the key things was when, of course, when the penalty kick came, when Nunes touched Ahmed from the back, you saw him grabbing his head before the referee even did anything. So, having said that, he agreed already with the moment that he knew that there was not even a discussion. But you could see, like the little things you could see, and I even went before the game, I was in the dressing room, and you could see the people that work for the club, and I'm sure Nedum, knows it better than I do, but you could feel that they were different. You know, when I walked into the dressing room, we talked in the dressing room, we had like the interview kicked off there, but you could just see the people that work there, that something was different. It wasn't that confident side that I felt that I expected to be. You could see there's a lot happening at the club now, because even Guardiola, at this point now, after the game, he came out, and you could see it in the game too, looking for a solution. Doku's supposed to be the outlet for them, but Mazraoui played them really well. And Man United, for example, had Ahmed for them to be the outlet, and he worked out well at the end. So having looked at, when you see both managers going at it, you could see, I understand for some viewers it would be boring because they want more goals, but for the ones that enjoy football, could see the tactical, how they try to outmaster each other.
Nedum, how was your experience watching this game?
Well, thanks for coming to me, Dan. You know, I'm clearly in a very, very dark place. And it's not necessarily even because of the run. It's the fact that the run has led to this Manchester derby result. And I think in the manner of it itself, because, for as much as it was a nothing game as such, City still had the lead with less than 10 minutes to go. So for them to see that Matheus Nunes mistake, and then to see him and Vardy get that run wrong from Ahmad at the end, which leads to their finishing goal to make it 2-1, it's hugely frustrating. And I think, as Mario was saying there, the feel at the club is different now, because you could see from the moment Matheus Nunes gave away that penalty, his hands are on his head. It's almost because he knows, here we go again. He's trying the best that he can, but here we go again with the preventable sort of goal that's being given to the opposition. And from the moment that went in, I promise you there would not have been many people in that stadium from a Man City perspective who would have had a belief that they weren't going to lose that game, which is crazy to think about, given the success that they've had throughout all the Guardiola years, not least of all winning the last 4 Premier League titles. So it is very, very different. It's very, very frustrating. And I think for me personally, this feels like the rock bottom, because it's Manchester United. And for them to come and beat City, we've seen that happen before, a few years. Solskjaer, I think, won there 3 times with his side. But it's like, this is a United team that's in 12th. A lot of people, for as much as City are out of form, they still fancied them. But now, there's no talk of a title race. There's no talk of even winning games at the moment. It's just, can they keep a clean sheet? Can they try and not actually concede 2 goals a game? At the moment, it feels like that's what's going to happen every single time, and that is certainly alarming, to say the least.
We were joking ahead of the game, Nedum, that Pep Guardiola was reading from the same script after every single poor result. I'm proud of my boys. I think we can get there. But even he changed his tune at the end of this one, going, look, I'm not good enough. This isn't good enough. I don't know what we're going to do next.
Yeah, I think it's fair. And the alarming thing for me, this run that they've been on, which is, historically bad for them, I think it's the worst run they've been on in, 20 plus years or whatever. It's the fact that within it, it's not that they've not won games, it's the fact that they keep losing games. That's not really the pedigree for me of a team that should have been as successful as they have been, those years that have gone by. There are worse teams in City who will find a way to not be on this run whilst playing against the exact same teams with similar positions in terms of like the injury status. So it is very, very disappointing. I think Guardiola's right in what he said. Bernardo Silva said what he said afterwards, after the game as well, saying how, they're defending like schoolboys. And to be honest, I think most schoolboys wouldn't defend in that manner. I think as a schoolboy, you kind of keep things a little bit simpler to a certain extent. So it's certainly alarming. The goals were an absolute travesty. And the sad thing about it is that's the way it is for every game at this moment in time. And what chance have you got if you're not going to be scoring the goals up top that matter and you can't defend any action whatsoever? Because if United slice them open, fair enough. But all it takes is possibly, somebody making a back pass, capitalise on it, somebody making a pretty straightforward run, and before you know it, they're cleaning on your goal. I think from Guardiola and the players, they know that is not acceptable.